Struggling with fame, turning to alcohol, and a split with his label, Liam Payne's life ended tragically in October 2024 when he fell from a hotel balcony. Were there signs warning of the trouble to come? Growing up in a working-class family in Wolverhampton, situated in Britain's West Midlands, Liam Payne was a sickly child suffering from chronic kidney ailments. While attending school, Payne was bullied by older boys. He told "We love Pop." I went and told my parents and my teachers, but it didn't stop, so I had to sort it out myself. Sadly, Payne continued to be bullied even after becoming a celebrity. Payne skyrocketed to celebrity status in 2010, but he received an earlier and far more bitter taste of fame when he competed on The X Factor 2 years earlier at age 14 and didn't make the cut. Speaking on Jordan Stevens' Killing It podcast, Payne said, "People would ridicule me in the streets and all sorts when I was like 15 or 16. I once went in McDonald's when I was turning 16, and I went up to order my thing. Went to sit down with the girl I was with at the time, and a group of lads at the top of the stairs were like, 'X Factor reject!' It was a really hollow moment." 2 years after being booted off The X Factor, Liam Payne tried again. He fared far better with his second attempt in 2010, especially when he wound up being partnered with fellow contestants Niall Horan, Harry Styles, Louis Tomlinson, and Zayn Malik to form One Direction. The group soared to success, and the accompanying fame proved to be a big adjustment for all of them, particularly Payne. As he admitted during the 2019 TV special Ant Middleton and Liam Payne, Straight Talking, One Direction catapulted him to a level of celebrity that became isolating, leading him to become so engulfed in loneliness that he sank into deep despair.
I'm quite lucky to be here still, which is something I've never really shared with anyone.
He went on, "I can't go too deep into it because I don't know how I feel about it myself. I still haven't made my peace with it, to be honest. There's times where that level of loneliness and people getting into you every day."
Just every so often, you're like, when will this end? And then that's almost nearly killed me a couple of times.
In addition to bringing about feelings of isolation, One Direction also placed Liam Payne on a relentless schedule of rehearsals, recording songs, going on tour for concert performances, showing up for promotional appearances and talk shows, and all the other myriad pop star activities that consumed his days. Becoming an overnight sensation threw Payne for a loop, something he discussed while appearing on the Diary of a CEO podcast.
There's no guidebook. They don't give you a little DVD on the way and saying, "Here, you're a pop star. Like, this is what you got to do."
That was certainly true when One Direction went on the road. While on tour, Payne and the other One D members were so besieged by fans that, for all intents and purposes, they became prisoners trapped within hotel rooms. To cope, Payne turned to alcohol. Payne told The Guardian in 2019, "Doing a show to however many thousands of people, then being stuck by yourself in a country where you can't go out anywhere. What else are you going to do? The minibar is always there. I was like, I don't really know how to deal with this. Once you start, you can't really press the stop button." When 14-year-old Liam Payne made his first appearance on the X Factor stage in 2008, he received high praise from one of the show's judges, singer Cheryl Cole.
"I think you're really cute. I think you've got charisma. You give us that little cheeky wing."
Nearly a decade later, they began dating, which became public knowledge when The Sun reported that Payne and Cole, who was 10 years his senior, were secret lovers. They eventually confirmed that report, and a few months later began appearing together on red carpets as a legit couple. Pregnancy rumors were confirmed in March 2017 when they announced they'd welcomed a son, Bear. At age 23, Payne found fatherhood to be challenging, something he openly admitted in an interview with Men's Health, saying, "Becoming a dad at such a young age, it's such a difficult thing, and I think I built fatherhood up so much in my head that it kind of messed me up to start with. I started in a bad place with it. I think it spooked me out early on, and I was just worried I would not be enough to look after the both of them." Liam Payne's relationship with Cheryl Cole was not destined to stand the test of time. In July 2018, just over a year after the arrival of their son, Payne issued an update on the state of their union, tweeting, "Cheryl and I are sad to announce that we are going our separate ways. It's been a tough decision for us to make. We still have so much love for each other as a family." They may have split, but there were no hard feelings between the exes, who worked out an arrangement to co-parent their son. On an appearance on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, Payne discussed the split, saying, "The relationship we have with each other now as friends has only grown. We broke up for the reason that we broke up, and now she gives me full autonomy of my life and to do what I do."
At the same time, I know he's being taken care of because he's all she cares about, and that's, you couldn't ask for more.
After Payne's tragic death, Cole paid tribute via Instagram, sharing a photo of him with their infant son and writing, "As I try to navigate this earth-shattering event and work through my own grief at this indescribably painful time, I'd like to kindly remind everyone that we have lost a human being." Shortly after Liam Payne and Cheryl Cole broke up, rumors emerged in August 2018 that he was dating Maya Henry, an American model from Texas. After a couple of years of dating, in August 2020, a photograph of the two revealed Henry was wearing a sparkling diamond ring. Payne subsequently confirmed that they were indeed engaged. Later that year, with both working from home during the pandemic, Payne admitted to People that they'd experienced their ups and downs, adding, "This has been a very strange year, and we were really living on top of each other at one point." In June 2021, however, Payne revealed that they'd split up, but they subsequently got back together. He told People magazine in March 2022, "She's still my fiancée, we're still here together, and we're very, very happy at the moment. Probably the happiest we've been." That happiness was short-lived. In May 2022, photos appeared on Instagram of Payne snuggling a woman who resembled Henry, but was not her. Henry wrote in a comment, "I love all the fans so much, but please stop sending me these pictures of my fiancé wrapped around another woman. This is not me, and it's hard enough knowing this has happened without seeing it. Enough now." Payne's rep confirmed to People that they'd called off the engagement and gone their separate ways. Over the years, Liam Payne was candid about how much he'd grappled with his mental health during his years with One Direction. As he later revealed, he'd struggled even more after the group went on a hiatus that wound up becoming permanent. At a certain point, Payne began to experience anxiety, which increased in severity to the point that he eventually became terrified of leaving his house. He told Esquire Middle East, "I developed a bit of agoraphobia. I would never leave the house. And I do sometimes suffer with it a bit in the sense that I'll get days where I just don't want to leave my house, even if it's just going to the shop." Following the end of her engagement to Liam Payne, Maya Henry did not go away quietly. Instead, she sat down and wrote a novel, Looking Forward. Published in May 2024, the fictional book is a thinly veiled account of her failed relationship with Payne, recounting the tumultuous romance between pop star Oliver and a naive young woman named Mallory, describing Oliver's descent from charming celeb to unpredictable and cruel addict. Henry told People magazine the book was fiction, but it was inspired by true events. Henry also confirmed that one part of the plot, where Mallory aborts a pregnancy on orders from Oliver, was based on true events. Henry had a lot more to say in a video she posted on TikTok in early October 2024, claiming Payne confessed to her that he, quote, preys on One Direction fans because they will always be loyal to him and they won't tell on him. She also accused Payne of relentlessly stalking her.
Ever since we broke up, he messages me, will blow up my phone.
Not long after, her actions against Payne escalated. On October 14th, just 2 days before Payne's death, her attorneys told the Daily Mail that she was commencing legal action against him. A statement to the outlet read, Maya Henry issued a cease and desist last week to Liam Payne following the emergence of new and concerning information. After his death, some disturbing reports about Liam Payne's state of mind began to emerge. One of those came from the Daily Mail, which reported that Payne had been devastated when his record label, Universal Music, quietly dropped him. As the Mail's source alleged, the label was not only dissatisfied with the performance of Payne's previous efforts, but was also not thrilled with the direction he was taking with his new music. The source told the publication, Liam wanted to make the sort of music he enjoyed, but his label believed it wouldn't win over 1D fans, so there were disagreements about the way his brand should have been marketed. The source added that part of the label's decision lay with the mockery Payne had been experiencing on social media due to an onslaught of bad press, telling the publication, unfortunately, part of the decision was motivated by all of the memes and jokes people made about him online. His team saw that as a sign to jump ship. Shortly after Liam Payne's death, while staying in a Buenos Aires hotel, reports emerged of erratic behavior just before his fatal fall from a third-story balcony. As BBC News reported, the transcript of a 911 call from a hotel employee shed more light. The staffer told the 911 operator, well, we've got a guest who has had too many drugs and alcohol and, well, when he is conscious, he is trashing the entire room, and we need you to send someone, please. While autopsy reports don't always tell the whole story, the results of a partial autopsy were subsequently released, confirming the staffer's suspicions that drugs were involved. According to that autopsy, Payne had ingested several substances, including cocaine, benzodiazepine, crack cocaine, and so-called pink cocaine, a mishmash of pharmaceuticals that often includes ketamine, methamphetamine, MDMA, and other substances. The autopsy also identified 25 separate injuries on Payne's body, indicating that injuries to his head, which were caused by his fall from the balcony, had likely resulted in his death. Meanwhile, the Standard reported that Argentinian state police were interviewing some employees at the hotel who were suspected of supplying Payne with drugs. If you or anyone you know needs help with addiction issues, visit the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration website or contact SAMHSA's National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP. 4357.